from their orbital space platform and find out, you know, who are these enemies? What do they do? Are there other survivors out there? And as we sort of move through the game, because it's going to be a live product, as we sort of grow it, we're going to be adding to that story and revealing more about the dinosaurs, how they came to be.
This is
it's
interesting.
a pretty unreal concept, obviously.
But it is basically just
it's
shooting
an unreal
dinosaurs,
concept, but
you
it's
know.
one that I think most people can get on board with. We've
Not
got
that
some
I
of
don't
the
mind
sort of, these look kind of
that.
like velociraptors. We had some
I
of them
mind
that were
that
hurling some sort of acid. There were ones with what looked like kind of invisibility camouflage. Can you speak a little bit about the sort of different enemy variety we're going to see?
For sure. I mean, we have this idea of sort of base
how much
types of
variety
enemies,
can there be,
and
except for
they're different species,
they're flying,
and then there's sort of mutations
as
that come
opposed
upon
to on
that.
the land.
So
Oh, actually, maybe in the water
raptor
too.
Here, we wanted him to be recognizably a raptor. As you get close to them, you sort of see there's something off about them. You know, the eyes aren't quite right. There's too many teeth. So that's the kind of like your basic mutant.
So this is
and they're a kind of
Jurassic
core
Park without
enemy.
calling it Jurassic
But then
Park,
there's
right?
other sort of spin-offs of the raptors. You mentioned, yeah, like the electric raptor, which I guess we took a very loose science approach. They're not fantasy, they're not magical. So we were looking at kind of crazy things in the animal kingdom. Yeah, okay, there's kind of animals that can do camouflage, there's animals that can deliver electric shocks.
Rodney.
And we use those as jumping off points to make our mutants.
Second
and
extinction,
we do
I
have
think that's what
bigger
it's
dinosaurs
called.
as well, kind of acting as
It's
our,
like Jurassic Park, you know?
And,
without calling it Jurassic Park.
I mean, we have to have a T-Rex in this kind of game. But obviously bigger and badder.
I just thought I'd jump on here. Let me know if you can hear the audio of the actual
Now you're taking some liberties
game
with the sort of the science side of things, which is
the
completely
IGN
okay
stream,
because video games are supposed to be fun. Is
the
there
whole
any chance
point
we're
of
going to
this
see,
stream and the
traditionally
earlier stream
more,
is basically to test if
more
I
gentle,
can stream
herbivore
all of
dinosaurs
this for the
reimagined
Sony
as
PS5
killing
event
machines
tomorrow.
that we get to take on, or is it just going to be
That would be
carnivores that
awesome.
we're pumping full of lead?
No, it's all types of dinosaurs, and we're going to be building
all
up that
types
roster
of
enemies
dinosaurs.
as time
Yay!
goes on. Once we launch the game, we've got some really cool
You
plans.
don't want to shoot them all.
Obviously, dinosaurs are a starting point.
I
They're
mean,
pretty
really?
awesome as it is.
Humans
and
will
then you're
just
mutating
shoot
them,
anything. We get the
and you
chance
can go
to
pretty
like
wild,
beat up
and we have
anything
to
in a
sort of rein
game
ourselves
and
back in and go, wow,
put it in.
for later we can
Even
go there. That's going too
dinosaurs.
far straight away. There's a lot we can do with it, and I have to say these are evil mutant dinosaurs, right? You say even the herbivores are mean. I mean, that was a challenge.
So all of them are evil now, even herbivores.
Look really nasty, and yeah, the art team have done, and the animation team, I should say, have done an incredible job of taking something that we all know and love.
I can't believe how
to make you think,
we're
that's
just,
not cute. That's
you know,
really not
using
nice.
this
I
as
don't
an
wanna come
excuse
against
to just
that.
hair everything.
Yeah, so herbivores and carnivores, they're all dangerous in second
You
extinction.
can only hear guys talking in the
I
video.
love it.
Yeah,
I would love to continue
that's
talking
basically all
about the
that's
dinosaurs,
happening
but we should
really right
probably
now,
also
and a little
address
bit
the
of shooting.
humans. Is this class
Let me put
based?
that
Is
audio up
everyone
for
kind
you.
of kitting out their own character with different
be able to hear it a
loadouts?
little bit
Can you speak a
better
bit about how that comes together?
Sure. So we've got at the start of the game, we've got these 4 heroes, and they are an international cast, sort of from around the world. We wanted to get across that this was an
Diversity and
international
inclusion.
conflict. The whole world has gone down. So we have these different characters.
I hope there's an Asian
now they
female,
sit
so I
within
feel
different
included, you
classes,
know.
but each character has their
Just
own
kidding.
unique abilities as well. So there's sort of class
Just
aspects
playing
of
on the
certain
fact that
weapons
they've
they can
included,
use,
like,
class abilities. And then
international
each character will bring
characters.
its own special ability to the fight.
But there's only 4,
And,
so there's a
those
limit to how
classes,
international
are
we'll get in here.
pretty standard fare in regard of there's a support class, there's a kind of generalist weapons class, and then there's a heavy type of class as well.
I think I'm as
but where the real
international
fun
as it
is
gets. I'm an
obviously, the
Asian
abilities. That's where
female,
we get to layer on something very special into the characters.
born in the
and
UK,
also tell
now
a bit more about
living in the
their character,
USA,
because
and I speak
there's not a lot
like
of
4 or 5
storytelling
languages.
as in traditional sense, cutscenes, that kind of thing. So we wanted to get across what
Probably
these
as
people are
international
like
as
in
it
the
gets.
abilities that they do, and the kind of VO lines that they trigger as well. Now you do get to load out the characters as well, so it's not all preset. So you get to choose the weapons, the kit that you take in, which includes grenades, but also payloads. Because you're up in space, a lot of stuff actually comes down. You'll see that in the video here. Things being shot up into space and things being sent back down again. And the payloads can be anything from a resupply to a massive airstrike. So you as your team, you want to choose what's the stuff that you
It's
bring
Call
in
of
to the
Duty,
game, to have a nice
but with
spread, so you can
dinosaurs,
sort of work together
right?
cooperate to deal with the dinosaurs.
Oh no, that was Dinosaur Boogie. Did you
And
see
of course,
that?
there is an element
Threw
of-
Dinosaur Boogie at him. And
No, go ahead.
again.
You were telling us.
Oh, I was just going to say there's an element of upgrading the weapons in the game as well. So each weapon
is the game being released for?
has its own
I think
upgrade
I only
tree,
heard
and that's something you can
Xbox
sort
so
of unlock
far.
as you go on and you research, and then those upgrades allow you
seemed to
to
say
either
anyway,
specialize
let's
your
look here.
weapon or make it more general. We've aimed at making, rather than adding power constantly, we're trying to go for breadth. But it's anything from sort of more exotic things like fire ammunition to a buff to reloading, and we let players sort of reconfigure the weapon. Once they've unlocked the things, they can change and adapt the weapons and try different things out for different types of missions.
Right on. Can you speak a little bit about sort of the mission structure? We saw this open up with kind of a dropship type of thing, and then everyone's sort of running around. Looks like gathering a lot of resources. Can you talk a bit about sort of the different objectives we'll have in the game?
For sure. So the host of the game, they pick where they're going to come in on the map. So the map has these different regions, and there's actually a dynamic element of that that we're going to talk about in the future. But they have these kind of insertion points that sometimes are active, sometimes they aren't. And they can see where the mission is. So they choose where we're going to enter the mission. They might want to do some
nice way
of
putting it. I just called it
or they might want to get straight into the heart of the mission, get cracking,
Dinosaur
try and get through it quickly, so they don't run out of supplies. Once they've chosen that, you get the quite cool insertion sequence. Down you go, and then depending on the area you've landed in, it might be an area that has supplies. Great, you can top up what you've got, or actually it might be straight into the combat, and you've got dinosaurs coming at you immediately, which can be quite overwhelming, obviously. You then have your mission, often objectives that you can take out in different orders, the order that you choose to do it in, and there is these optional activities that spawn around the map as well, so players can pick to do those if they want to. Now, once they
very
finish what's
laggy
been
at the
asked of
moment,
them for the mission,
which is kind of
then
annoying.
they have to extract. And
It's
here is
blurred.
a sort of a one-off situation that happens every mission you play. You have to get back out, so you go to one of these extraction points, you call in the dropship, and depending on how bad the
Try putting this up a little.
area is, the sort of threat level of that area, it depends on how long the dropship's going to take to get to you, and you have to fight off the enemies for as long as possible until the dropship arrives. You can get on board.
That's better. The quality is tons better now.
Nice. Can you speak a little bit about the scale of the map? Because this is, I mean, it looks huge. Is it the kind of thing where that mountain over there, we could actually go all the way over there?
Yes, so obviously the heritage, Avalon Studios is all about these open world games, and we're not actually talking about this as an open world game. We're talking about this as a big map game, because we have units, on their feet, moving around. There's no vehicles in the game apart from the dropship. And we found that actually the best play experience was for a more compressed map. I mean, it's still pretty big, and you can go anywhere you like.
Wait, he just said it's a more compressed map, but it's still pretty big. That's very contradictory. I don't understand.
So yeah, we like to call it a big map game instead.
They like to call it a big map game.
Can you speak a little bit about when people will get their hands on it?
He didn't tell us whether we can get to the mountain.
Any plans for a beta or anything like that?
For sure, yeah. Well, we're not announcing the release just
Looks
now.
like it could be a sequel to Dino Crisis, but with FPS elements.
You can
Probably. I've never heard of that game.
Which is
I'd have no idea.
secondextinctiongame, and there's a war support /war support. You can go there, and there's a cool little referral scheme. So if you get your friends to sign up, you can get some exclusive kits for your characters, exclusive skins, that kind of thing. And yeah, we really want to start engaging with the community now, get a lot of people into the beta, get their feedback, and sort of
I play the
together
beta, but
time goes on.
Dude, it needs to be out on the PS4.
Shooting mutant dinosaurs in the face is fun, but it's even more fun with friends. Thank you for talking to me about the dinosaurs. I'm looking forward to hearing more about Second Extinction later this year.
Woohoo! Jurassic Park / Call of Duty. Rolled into one. I'm here for that. I would try it if it was on the PS4, but it's on Xbox, so... I'm sorry.
Good job, Max. That sounds like you're like my dog or something. You're not my dog, you're my coworker. Anyways, we're right in the middle of IGN Expo #1, part of IGN Summer of Gaming, a cavalcade of video game reveals
savage.
and deep dives continuing tomorrow and indeed for weeks to come. Coming up after the break, Tom Marks will show us a new game he's been interested in. Then I'll be back to bring you a closer look at Metal Hellsinger, which, as you could probably tell from the badass trailer,
Dino Crisis was made by Capcom.
Rhythm-based shooting game in which you tear ass through hell. That sounds so painful.
Oh, okay.
But it's a really cool game, so stay tuned. And check back tomorrow wherever you stream or on IGN One on your Samsung TV Plus for more IGN Expos and the big Sony State of Play reveal stream. All that and much more right after this. Stay tuned. IGN Summer Gaming is brought to you by Fuser, who will be partying with us.
How long is this break, though? Okay.
The biggest gaming event of the year is IGN's Summer of Gaming, and it's almost here.
Oh, yes!
June to see the latest and greatest game reveals, news, trailers, next-gen coverage, and more. We'll be kicking it off with our first ever IGN Expo, where you'll get first looks at world premiere game trailers, exclusive game demos, and interviews you won't find anywhere else. IGN's Summer of Gaming, only on IGN and IGN One on your Samsung TV Plus.
Nice.
Tired of watching IGN on those tiny cell phones and tablets?
Okay, well,
Moving to your living rooms.
they're on a little break right now, so
Tune into IGN One on your Samsung TV Plus to see all
let's
that
just turn
IGN
this
has to
down
offer,
because
beginning
it's
with our
doing my head
exclusive
in.
Summer of Gaming event. You'll get first looks at world premiere
Okay,
trailers,
that's better.
exclusive game demos, and next-gen console coverage.
I can't wait. I think they basically just put in the top 3 games that I cannot wait. In fact, this top 4: Last of Us 2, Cyberpunk, Ghost of Tsushima, and then Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like, I cannot wait for those games. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I'll have to wait until it comes out on the PS4, but damn, I can't wait. Forgot to tell you that your PS5 stream test came out fine. Awesome! I wasn't able to comment in that video. Oh, you mean you wasn't able to comment in the video? Oh, damn. I don't know why that is. That's odd. Usually people can comment straight after my streams.
Going over all the latest
I don't know
news
what
of
that's
the day
about.
while taking live questions and comments from chat.
Let's have a little look over here.
Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and you can find us on Mixer.com.
I don't know. I'll be really honest with you. It's a pain in the ass to set up OBS in general. It's very complicated. All of the flipping little like ins and outs of it, just setting it up for stream on a PS4 is extremely fucking complicated. Once I lost my audio and I was totally screwed.
On IGN Summer of Gaming, where we highlight exciting under-the-radar games.
But yeah, it's a complicated little process.
This first one asks the wonderfully ridiculous question of what would happen if you took GTA 2's top-down action mayhem and set it during medieval
Don't worry, I
times.
got you.
Take a look at some exclusive new gameplay from Rustler Grand Theft Horse.
Grand Theft Orcs? Bring his ass to the butcher. Why are they just grunting and like making weird little sounds? It's a top-down game. Put this apple on your head. Grand Theft Horse. I said Grand Theft Orcs. I don't know which is better. Grand Theft Horse or Grand Theft Orcs? The hell? Boys, get him. Do you know what? This is the kind of game that is like so random but so bloody addictive. Like, I can literally see myself getting into this kind of game and addicted to it. Grand Theft Horse. Jitsu games. Kagebunsen, it's it.
Like what you see? Then head on over to IGN.com or YouTube.com/IGN to watch the full extended version of this gameplay.
Ha, they already had Grand Theft Horse. It's called Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2. Do you know I've never properly played that? I think my brother had it back on the PS3. But I never properly played it. I just saw trailers and stuff.
To be joining us a little while ago, we premiered the trailer for Metal Hellslinger, and oh my gosh, was it amazing! And here to talk more about this exclusive reveal is none other than David Goldfarb. So, David, let's dive in. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here with us. All the way.
David looks nervous. Aww.
So, we just saw your trailer. We just saw your trailer for the very first time. Let's just dive in because that looks like something I have never seen before. So it is a rhythm shooter. Can you tell us about that?
I wonder if this is all
live. Should I tell you about
the
origin of it, or should I tell you about the? I mean, like the idea is that I think when I was thinking about it originally, it was something. There's sort of a zen state that you get into when you're playing rhythm games, and you get into them also with first-person shooters. And then at some point, I was thinking it would be cool if I could do both. And then especially if
it's a rhythm game,
music that I loved involved, I felt like those three things would work, and therefore we wound up improbably making this crazy thing. Yeah. So that's.
So it's a labor of love. It brings the two things that you love together into one.
That is true, yeah. Oh, you're doing a lot of...
We've got this audio for you guys.
So let's start with, what exactly are we watching right now? Like, is it a rhythm? I feel like a lot of rhythm games, you choose the song that you want to play and then you play it, right? It's very, like, stagnant. Can we expect that there's going to be a through line? Is there a story?
Yeah, so... It's unlike, I think there are games that typically do this.
This is just really
and
odd.
They are static, as you point out. You have like a static track that you're trying to play against. And we tried that, and it wasn't fun. And we're like a shooter. We've made a lot of shooters internally.
It wasn't fun.
You know, the people at the studio. And so, knowing that, we wound up making a shooter that has these rhythm components rather than a thing where you're on rails and you're trying to do things to that essentially like limit your agency as a player. So for us, it was more important to make it feel like organic and dynamic than it was to have you follow like the static song, and that the music is also a huge part of this. So the music here is dependent on
that's going to be insanely
sick. Like right now,
I can just tell, but
you can see right there.
I'm so looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2 before then.
Of the music I
already had high hopes for Last of Us, but when I played that game, oh my lord, I was legit blown away. That was absolutely ridiculous.
You really dig. You want to keep it at 16. You want to keep the multiplayer as high as possible to get all that stuff.
Wow, wait, that's such an interesting component, because I feel like I completely agree. You almost are motivated not just to kill.
I think I'd get
enemies,
so bored
but
so quick with this kind of game.
Like track sort of a thing. So let's talk
it's
about
just
the scoring a little
moving
bit.
around and
how does the scoring work
using
exactly?
a shotgun as part of a rhythm.
I mean, right now this is like a super early build, so actually we had to disable.
I don't know. I would lose all
like
focus and attention.
Like there's a
my
whole bunch of
attention
criteria
span
that we're
would be
evaluating,
gone
like
in a
keeping
matter
the
of
beat,
minutes.
like you see right there, using paths to kind of keep the beat up. So everything that you do, every action that you take,
he has to keep the beat up.
That like shooting the enemy or you see yourself hitting him on the beat there, killing him on the beat, or any number of other actions. All those things give you score, and the score is multiplied by the
I'm sorry, outsiders.
There. That's a sort of multiplier. And
I'm sure there must be an audience for this kind of game, but it's not me.
So, and then at the end of the level, there are a number of other criteria that are applied, and those things collectively give you, like, your accuracy.
Gotcha. So are you progressing through the level once you hit a certain number? So like we just saw 900,000. So once you pass 900,000, let's just say, does a higher level enemy appear, or are you just trying to get the highest score possible as you go throughout the level?
You're trying to get the highest score for the leaderboards and also to earn souls, which is I probably won't talk about right now. But those things are a point of progression and persistence things give you access to other.
This thing is just giving me serious zombie vibes. That big one that just died.
Is there like a story? The answer is yes. So we can talk about that, or I can avoid it.
Yeah, no, I would love to dive into the story if you're
It was
willing
kind
to
of
tell us
reminding me of
about
those
it.
blobby zombies.
As we saw in the
I don't even know the name of them. I used to call them the
I can talk a little
blobs.
about it because I think the marketing will kill me if I reveal too much.
They were huge and they used to like run at you and then
what I can
throw
say
shit at
is
you.
that you're playing this character, the unknown,
Exploding shit.
and,
I can't even remember what they were called.
Or she's the one who is there to, in theory, overturn the order of the Hells and replace the order with chaos. At least that's the sort of broad setup. And there's this ruler that's sort of the Red Judge, who's I don't know.
Ghost of Tsushima is another game I'm looking forward to next month. I'm going to have to put some more money down soon. I want it paid off by the time it releases.
Object to your irresistible force, and so that's kind of like the two of you are sort of opposed to one another.
I mean, that game.
Are eventually going to.
I think I'm going to lose countless hours of my life to that game because
that's the setup. And
it just looks like one of those where you start playing it and then you are lost for eternity. There is no coming back.
A story that's super metal that people will enjoy along the way.
Okay, so we're like slowly running out of time, and I feel like I have so many questions because this game is so intriguing to me. So let me start with, you stopped yourself from saying antagonist, and I know that a lot of your games in the past or in a lot of interviews, you've talked about kind of this idea of perspective and offering a player the perspective of what might traditionally be.
I mean, I could be really wrong because, I mean, correct me because I've never played a rhythm game before, but it doesn't seem so complicated, you know? Like, as long as you have your enemy smack bang in the center of the screen,
so
you're pretty much guaranteed to kill him.
Playing this character who looks a certain way and seems to be doing a certain thing, and the enemy that you're fighting looks a certain way and seems to be doing a certain thing. And the Paz, the skull, same thing. All those things, I think, I would hope that my particular things that I care about are also present there. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Most evasive answer. Most evasive answer I can possibly give.
So this question is solely for me, but we have to end the interview really quickly, so I'm going to ask it super fast. But is the person that we're watching in that in the footage that we just watched, are they just really good at the game, or does the music tailor to your shooting abilities so that you're on beat?
Good question, because that's why I was saying it looks easy.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Good.
That's definitely vibing.
Yeah, that person is super good. Like, if you play, probably not going to be that good, and not at the start. In fact, I remember I told the person who was doing it, like, Jesus, all right, well, you're really good. So
well, I have no idea what's going to go down with myself because, as you know, right now.
Alrighty, well, David, thank you so much.
I don't have a job
for
because of this whole coronavirus situation, but I have no idea. Like, I could find work soon. I'm already talking to several places.
We can say that it's coming to PC.
I don't know where it's gonna go. It could go somewhere, it might go nowhere, and in that case, it'll switch up my whole schedule again. The whole reason why I wasn't able to ever have a streaming schedule was because of my job. My job was crazy hectic.
Oh, hey, you. Well, now we head from a bullet hell to a concrete jungle. If you're a fan of the Yakuza series, Yakuza Like a Dragon is probably already on your radar, and you know what you're in for, which is a densely packed city map full of minigames, organized crime, and ridiculous brawls. In case you're unfamiliar, there's 15 minutes of exclusive first-look gameplay with one of the producers telling us all about the new game. Quick question, though. Will someone get beaten over the head with a bicycle? No, I'm kidding. I already know the answer. Of course they will. Let's see what else Max found out about Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Oh, I think this is going to be cool.
As the 8th entry in the Yakuza series, Yakuza Like a Dragon might seem a bit intimidating, but launching on a whole bunch of different platforms and with a new protagonist and a brand new setting, it's as good a jumping on point as any. Joining me to talk about this brand new game is Scott Strickart, the senior localization producer from Sega on this wonderful series. Scott, thank you for joining us.
Sup, Scott?
Always good to hang out with you, Max.
So, I have been somewhat on media blackout with Like a Dragon. This is obviously a huge, big new installment that is doing a lot of new stuff with the series. It's already been out in Japan for a little while, but you guys always go a really long way with how you approach localization. For people who haven't been paying close attention, can you give us a little bit of a rundown of what the setting is, who the main character is, and what we can expect to see?
Right. So our previous protagonist, Kazuma Kiryu, his story arc ended in Yakuza 6, and we are picking up the new character, Ichiban Kasuga here.
Oh my gosh, I like it.
All featuring him. He's
guy.
our new protagonist, and he's very much a different guy than Kiryu ever was. There's a lot of different things about him that are where Kiryu is, we all kind of know him. Ichiban's going to hopefully steal everyone's hearts as we get into his story. So
Ichiban.
His primary story takes place in Yokohama, which is a city kind of adjacent to. Well, it's in Tokyo, but it's a different suburb. So it's a completely new city for us. It's like 3 times the size of Kamurocho, and it's going to be pretty cool.
So it's in Tokyo.
Now, one of the big, huge changes that's happening this time around is that Yakuza, which is historically a kind of an action beat 'em up, is now a party-based, turn-based RPG. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you're maintaining the same level of expectation for totally over-the-top action in a more of an RPG setting?
Absolutely. So Ichiban is his story is
summon pigeons.
Heavily dependent on his friendships that he makes with these other characters. They're all kind of coming from the same kind of climbing out from rock bottom kind of situations. It's a lot of people kind of from the edges of society coming together, and the dev team really felt like the best way to portray that was to allow the player to play as more than just Ichiban, to really kind of hang.
Oh my God! Seriously,
kind of happening with Ichiban. So he's a very charismatic dude, and he attracts people to his kind of demeanor. But at the same time,
I need to play this too.
He's a retro gamer, so these kind of RPG battles that are happening are very much kind of his mindset kind of happening in that you're looking at whenever the battles kind of transition. You probably saw that when the battle transitions, the enemies that are he's fighting literally become this almost kind of like monsters.
Knocking him out with his guitar.
That's all kind of happening in his head, being portrayed kind of in the game. But we absolutely haven't forgotten our roots as an action game, and there's all kinds of ways that we're playing heavily to the audience who expects kind of more quick snappy kind of action.
He's weak. Get him.
So that's all kind of incorporated into this RPG turn-based system that kind of under the hood will allow you to still kind of perform the action that you will love and know from the Yakuza series.
I dig that. So your party and
threatening
your
men.
Making, can you talk a bit about how much variety you're going to have in terms of party members and characters you're going to be meeting along the way?
Right. So right now we have the full party of 4. You can get up to 6 plus 1 party member, optional. And that's going to be one way that you can differentiate your party. But we also have a full-on job system with 19 jobs that you can take up. And a lot of the times, I think when you think of a job system, you're like, all right, here's my thief, my ranger, my mage kind of things. But we're using a classic Yakuza approach for this and allowing you to select like real life jobs. So
way!
We'll show some of that gameplay in a bit here, but
that sounds so cool.
We'll change all the jobs for the characters. You'll see some of that kind of come into play.
He has a dustbin
Now,
lid.
in the previous Yakuza games, you occasionally get different outfits, but they're usually not something you can unlock until later in the game. Are we going to see? I don't know if armor is the right word, but sort of different wardrobe for Ichiban and your party members.
Yes. So each job has its own custom.
Alcoholic
outfit, and then
flames.
In addition to its own custom outfit, has a couple different variations on it. So not only that,
do you know what? I really love games that allow you to change characters' outfits.
Free add-ons.
There was one on the Wii.
We're the only people who continues to just throw free content post-launch, and those all will have costumes in it.
It was a JRPG.
Now, the setting, I want to talk about this. How would you say it compares, other than just in terms of scale, to some of the previous
and whimsical?
settings?
I just can't remember the name of it.
Kamurocho.
And you could literally change their outfit into absolutely anything and any color.
9 different districts.
And I remember, I think I made the guy wear like baby pink everything.
Commercial district.
It was hilarious.
Industrial district. You've got Koreatown and Chinatown, and all these different like areas kind of have their own vibe and their own feel to them. And what's neat about it is that, you know, you may have noticed as he was playing some of the gameplay that like there's a different threat level to each of those. So like wandering too far and outside of your level is definitely going to be more of a challenge for you, and you're going to have to really kind of pick your strategy better.
Yeah, it looks super funky. I love it too.
In terms of enemy variety, we've seen like the wonderful, you know, there's the threatening men, and there's delinquents, and there's you know, various grades of street thugs. How do you maintain that same level, sort of within the pageantry of an RPG?
Fun.
Are there going to be?
This is the kind of like chill vibes game that you can just pick up and play whenever.
You probably saw that. As like I was mentioning, like the enemies are literally transformed.
I want to see sharp perfume.
Play into really heavily. There's all kinds of different types of monsters. You add them very early on in the story. You gain what's called a Suji Dex in your as an app on your phone, and if that sounds familiar, there's a reason it does.
Suji Dex.
So you're basically running around collecting these monsters into your phone app, and they're all very very kind of homage type of enemies to RPGs, while at the same time mixing them with that Yakuza like real life level. So like that guy that changed into a berserker, for instance, you know, that we used a lot of Western names that are kind of you know, they're very much an homage to a very particular series that Ichiban is a fan of, called Dragon Quest.
I love that. So
Dragon Quest.
This feels like a Yakuza game where you're playing as a JRPG nerd within the game. Like there's that level of like, it seems very meta.
That's so fun.
Meta. Yeah. There's like a whole conversation.
It is pretty meta.
Party members early on, and he's like, "Guys, did you see those monsters transform?" And they're like, "No, bro, but whatever it is that you're thinking, like that's fine as long as it helps you fight."
I guess we've seen. I think I caught a glimpse of Kiryu showing up in one of the trailers or some gameplay. Can you talk about sort of how this is going to intersect with the existing, you know, Yakuza Judgment universe?
So it is definitely set in the same universe. When Ichiban gets out of Ichiban takes the fall for a crime that he didn't commit, very similar to our previous protagonist. But when he gets out in the year 2019, it's a brand new world for him, in which the Omi Alliance has essentially taken over Kamurocho. And if you're familiar with the kind of rivalry that the Omi and the Tojo clan have had for the last 6+ games.
No, I'm not familiar
with it. That's a huge deal, right? Like it's massive. And so all of that is kind of unfolding in the background as Ichiban is continually like kicked lower and lower. And like I mentioned, you know, Kiryu and some of our previous pro tags even are kind of in the background, and you'll definitely intersect with them kind of later in the game in a way that is epic, but I don't want to spoil too much.
No, I think my favorite part of the Yakuza series, obviously the super heavy duty, dramatic, you know, operatic crime stuff is cool, but I love all of the weird sub stories and just, you know, side characters you run into along the way. And you and the localization team always seem to have a really good time bringing that stuff to.
Oh no, what happened?
Beginning of this footage.
There we go.
It seemed like you could talk to.
Second.
You talk about some of just the silly stuff that we're going to be doing in this game, in addition to the heavy-duty crime drama.
So yeah, you saw that the crawfish over there. Her name's Nancy. I don't want to talk about Nancy because we'll absolutely be showing more of Nancy later. But
the crawfish is called Nancy.
Basically, making friends with the crawfish.
What the f?
You know, it's just as bonkers as you might expect Yakuza to be. There's still heartwarming sub stories.
It is
There's
bonkers.
Still very, like, you know, dramatic sub stories, but
completely
for the most
nuts.
part, the sub stories lean pretty hard into the nonsense side of things. Not to mention all the jobs and special attacks that we're now kind of seeing that, you know, the musician, for instance, having a move called album drop, where he literally drops an album on a guy. So
face palm.
Now, the other thing that is huge in Yakuza games is all the different sort of mini games and activities. We've seen some of these teased. This has kart racing. Is that right?
This is fun.
Dragon Kart is a full-on like Tokyo. You know, it's very popular.
Dragon
in Japan,
Kart.
where you get in those like little go-karts and run around the town. But of course, we had to bring our Yakuza twist to that with rocket launchers and satellites and all that kind of nonsense and machine guns. So that's very much a mini game you can play. I think later in this footage we're going to show a little bit of Can Quest. You can hop on like a rickshaw and start collecting cans for a little bit of side income, and that's hilarious. And here we are. Your goal here in this mini game is to collect these cans and get the boosts, and without getting kind of taken out by your competition who's out there also.
There's a competition.
You have to ram them, and you have to avoid the.
Screw the competition, man. We could do this.
Get back to the goal in time.
Go, Ichiban.
Running out of time.
Oh, there's the competition.
Are we going to see any of the sort of the business management type of games we've gotten used to? I mean, we've run hostess clubs, we've done real estate and construction companies.
Hostess club. Oh my gosh.
There is a full-on business management mode sub-story happening, and it's just as intricate as Real Estate Royale was, where Ichiban will be tasked with taking over a failing confectionery company, and taking that from a literally failing company to a great holdings company, where you'll have to recruit managers.
I love this so much.
And to go into these really
this
epic,
is
like,
mental,
where
absolutely stupid, and I love it.
Grievances, and you have to fight them and apologize to them with naturally over the top level of Yakuza nonsense.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear. I mean, the thing about this series that I love is that you wind up latching on to the thing that was you least expected. You know, there'll be some little mini game that you're like, that sounds weird. Who would be into that? And then, you know, you find yourself sinking 11 hours into it. And you're like,
yeah.
Can you? Is there going to be any dating? We've seen that kind of got dabbled in. I
need to see the dating in this game.
Yeah,
please say there's dating.
With the I guess the Persona series, where you can level your kind of personality up a bit. If you raise certain levels of your personality enough, you might be able to approach some of the ladies you've met throughout the.
Oh my gosh!
The storylines.
And do what? So Share a can with them. Throw cans at them.
Now you mentioned Persona. That's another Sega property. Obviously, that's kind of the when people think like the turn-based JRPG that Sega makes, that's the big one, and now Yakuza's kind of dipping their toe into that. Have the teams like interacted at all, given each other notes on that kind of thing, or?
That's a great question. They're in the same building. I couldn't tell you, but I think there's definitely some learnings happening, and I think it's just a cool kind of marriage of ideas that's certainly you're seeing with not only Persona but also Like a Dragon.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see.
That was amazing.
Sort of parallels. They're both games where you go exploring, in Japan and making friends and fighting stuff. And in this case, it seems like it's definitely dabbling in that JRPG territory, but it's still squarely, Yakuza stuff. Can you talk about sort of it's weird because it doesn't look turn-based. I guess the sort of the spacing seems really dynamic and almost more action RPG-ish.
Definitely, it's super snappy. So like you not only in during battle you can for one automate as anyone that you'd want to automate, so you can make it incredibly snappy that way. But also there's this very dynamic kind of live action kind of feel happening where the characters are just kind of they're dancing around each other a little bit. And so like if a character is between you and if a bike is between you and a character, your character will automatically pick up that bike, weave it into his attack. And so, that happens, and then another character
pick up a bike and weave it into your attack
with that character. They will, step in and do a follow-up attack. And
I need to see this bike attack.
That are where you've probably seen them throughout the footage, where the character you'll have to be pressing buttons and you can do perfect guards, and so you are like on your toes at the whole time. It's not a very passive battle system at all. You can tailor that to be as slow or as fast as you want.
Yeah, I haven't played Persona 5
awesome.
either.
This was, of course, got a big, huge announcement reveal thing at there was the Xbox Series X
Persona 5 as well as Persona 5 Royal.
State of Xbox, whatever the hell we're calling it. There's too many of these things.
Right.
And everyone's dying to know about next gen. Can you say anything about what people can expect from Yakuza Like a Dragon on the Series X compared to sort of current gen?
We're definitely supporting the smart delivery feature. And outside of that, there's we're still figuring that out a little bit, but for the most part, we're ready to support next gen on this, which is going to be pretty cool.
Okay, so when can people expect to get their hands on Yakuza Like a Dragon, Scott?
We'll be there day one on Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Windows 10, and Steam.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming by and chatting. I'm a big fan of Yakuza, as you might have guessed by my suit. I get married in the suit, and I do my Yakuza E3 interviews in this suit. Anyway, thanks for coming by. This has been great. I'm dying to know more about Yakuza Like a Dragon, and it's been a pleasure.
My pleasure, Max. Thank you.
That was very cool. I love that one.
Now that we're up to speed on Like a Dragon, it's time for another quick break, but don't worry, it won't drag on. Stick around for another round of exclusive new game trailers, the latest on Borderlands 3 DLC, and more as IGN Expo Day 1 continues. Then check back tomorrow for another charity run, IGN Expo number 2.
There are so many
Sony's
games.
State of Play reveal stream. Summer is just getting started.
There are so many games. It's ridiculous. Like, I cannot keep up with the amount of games that are coming out, that are out. It's just mental. Like, I mean, I can keep up because I am, but I mean, I can't keep up with playing them all because there's just too many of them.
The next generation of video gaming is on the horizon, and IGN is here to bring you the latest PlayStation 5
I so
and
wish
Xbox
that I had
Series X
more
news and
time.
analysis in our new weekly show,
Nelly! Konnichiwa! Who is that stranger? How dare you? You're nasty.
Services, features, peripherals, and even all the new tech jargon. Next-gen
I
console
thought...
2020 will keep you up to speed on everything.
I don't know. I thought there was going to be like a greater variety. Although we have seen a good variety actually here. I've got to say, IGN's presenting some good stuff in terms of variety. It came up with her, not you.
Never before seen looks at movies and games, reviews, let's plays, and live streams. IGN brings you all the coverage you need.
I want to see more of like Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2. That would have been epic. I wonder if IGN got any exclusives of that. Let me have a look at the little list right now. So it says trailers are Beyond Blue, Chivalry 2, Dual Universe, Pathfinder, Void Train, Wasteland 3, Werewolf the Apocalypse. And gameplay is GTFO, Grand Theft Horses, whatever, Mortal Shell, Observer, Second Extinction, and Yakuza. So we've seen Second Extinction, Yakuza, and then the other one, Metal something, wasn't it?
Do it now. Do it. Just go.
News, games, and more is IGN's live news show every day of the week that covers all the day's news about games, movies, comics, and of course more. This is our daily
Eris! Did you see Eris?
IGN talent, going over all the latest news of the day while taking live questions and comments from chat. We're live every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m.
Guys, I need a Nintendo Switch. I'm not gonna lie, but I need one. I mean, there's just no two ways about it now. I need a Nintendo Switch. Whether I should be buying one right now is probably another question.
In the midst of IGN Expo 1. Don't forget, all summer of gaming long, IGN is asking you to give to the Bail Project Fund and World Health Organization by clicking the donation links in the description of this video or heading on over to donate.ign.com.
The Bail Project is a nonprofit that pays bail for people in need, reuniting families, and restoring the presumption of innocence. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization's COVID-19 Response Fund is dedicated to studying, tracking, and combating the coronavirus pandemic. All of this is all very well and good, but even better by donating.
I really want to play Animal Crossing.
For games like Resident Evil 3 and swag from companies
I'm still
like
waiting.
And for even more Summer of Gaming goodness, download the
I feel like I'm gonna have to give in at some point because I don't think I can wait for very long.
With live events from
I'm just
Summer of
awful like that.
Summer of Gaming moments, Summer
I
of
know,
Gaming
I need
reactions,
one.
and Summer of Gaming plays. I just said
It's not
Summer
even
of Gaming
funny.
so many times.
Summer of Gaming. But we're only just now getting started, and we've got a lot to cover. So let's check out some more new
Yes, I
trailers
saw
for
Eris. I mean Eris. Yes, you do
Rapid
mean
fire
Eris.
style.
I'm kidding. Everybody calls her Eris except for me and everybody else in England and probably Europe. Eris. That's how we grew up knowing her, so that's what she'll always be to me. Sup, Sea Life? What's going on here? Sea Life Center situation. Blue Planet 2.
Welcome to the Western Pacific. I'm Dr. Mirai Soto, and I'll be your eyes and ears on this expedition. I'm joined today by 2 colleagues.
I hope we're finding Nemo. If we're not, I'm disappointed.
And I'm Irina. First time on a live stream. Be gentle with her.
Wow, what language is this music?
Oh, wow. Glad we didn't miss this.
Beautiful.
Damn, that girl's got some vibrato going.
Why are you so focused on this part and the baby?
I'm hoping to follow the baby for years, to learn from her as she learns from her family.
Hello, Mariah. Thanks for
I know you're
in.
excited.
Feeling settled in the sun? Is everything tested out?
Fabulous. The overhead speakers sound great. Glad I brought my tunes.
I should have brought snacks. I mean, like...
Science is not magic.
I'm legit hungry
patience.
now.
I'd like to believe in a little magic. Irina, did you expect volcanic activity here?
What language is this?
Andre, who is messing with my whales?
You've got snacks, I hate you. Snacks for days. What's this though?
Colorado ain't easy.
I've got 1 foot in the grave.
Out here, every decision is life
What game is this?
or death. And
Yes, I've heard
sometimes the
that
people
rumor
with the
about the
biggest
Switch
smiles
Pro.
have the coldest hearts. The marshals are sworn to uphold order in Colorado Springs, but they're more like the patriarch's private army. The only orders they uphold are his. The GIPPERS claim their God president will make America the shining city on the hill it once was.
I kind of
Preserve for our
assume
children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to...
But
I
they kill
assume-
anyone they think is a communist.
What the heck?
And they think everyone is a communist.
Anyway, I was gonna say, I assume that
Then
might
there's the
be
100
why the
families.
Nintendo shares
Claim they
have
want
gone
a
up
better
a little.
Colorado.
Could be
And they
due
do.
to that
But
little
mostly just for
rumor flying
themselves.
around. But I've heard it for a while now, so I don't know. They're fluctuating all the time. But Nintendo shares blew up anyway
group has a
because
plan
of
for
the
Colorodo's
Switch Pro
future,
being,
even
I mean, the
those
Switch being
butchering
everything during this
But it's up to you,
coronavirus
Ranger.
outbreak. Everybody wanted a
Whose
Switch,
side
including
are
me.
you on?
So, yeah. Oh, it's Wasteland! No way! The end has just begun. I feel like that's what's happening in reality right now. They need a better controller more than anything. Why don't you, like, patent a controller and tell them to, like, make it like this? I'm sure you can come up with a better one. I know you. Pathfinder. Ooh. Oh, this is the top-down view game. No point having a new console if the thing just walks around on its own. And it kills my hands to use them. Oh no! It'd probably do the same for me then. That's a pain in the butt. Look up the drift problem before you get a Switch. Okay, I will. Is that the issue with the controller? And this game looks sick. Oh my gosh. It reminds me of oh, what was that game? I played it with my brother back in the UK last year. Divinity? I think it was Divinity. Not Destiny. Divinity. Yes, it was Divinity. It kind of reminds me of that. I actually really like that game. Demetrius, konnichiwa! Is this the path to PS5? Sega was a letdown. I hope all of our minds get blown. This is the IGN like exclusive debut of like trailers,
Yo.
etc. What the heck is
So,
this?
the demon world separated into turfs. These
Look at
turfs,
this little game.
Yeah, they're filled with all kinds of nasties, all right. Each gang's got their big, scary leader, too.
Want to tussle? Oh God!
You
Oh my god.
But none
Looks like it
stand a
belongs on the
chance against
PlayStation
Demon
1.
King himself. I say it's time to kick his sorry butt out of here. It's my time to shine.
It's on the Switch. It says Xbox, Steam, and Switch. Oh, this looks cool. What's this? Anything like sci-fi kind of just reminds me either of Star Fox from way back in the day. Was it Star Fox, I think? And StarCraft. I love StarCraft so much. If I could devote like hours and hours of my life to that game, I so bloody would. I legit would. Looks like Destiny. Yeah, I think Destiny is the same sort of thing, right? Outer space. Like battles and stuff. Real-time damage. Nope, I don't need it.
If you liked those dual universe spaceships, you can
Toby.
actually download a file to 3D print one by visiting the Dual Universe site at dualthegame.com. And right now you can get a discount by using the promo code IGN20. In other news, with AAA games like Mario Odyssey, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, and Psychonauts 2 leading the charge, the 3D platforming renaissance seems to be upon us, and it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. Brian got to chat with one of the designers of a game that could prove to be the next big indie platformer, Demon Turf. Let's check it out.
It's kind of a little too obvious that they're reading off a cue. You know, and I think these are the bits that have been pre-recorded.
In 2017, retro platformer Slime Song captured our hearts and kicked our
This
asses.
guy
And
too.
now Fabraz, the studio that gave us Slime Song,
It
is
looks
back with
obvious that
something
he's
brand
reading
new,
off a cue.
Demon Turf. From Fabraz, please welcome CEO Fabian Rossifar and lead programmer Ben Miller. So we have entered the world of Demon Turf, which is a brand new platformer that you guys are working on.
I'm not interested
Tell me
in
about
this
it. How did this come together?
like,
And what is this
Not
game?
interesting.
Basically,
See,
it
what
kind
else
of
do we
was
have here?
something that was brewing in my head for a while, and I've always grown up with platformers,
have a
2D platformers
Borderlands
and 3D
3
platformers. And we felt with
preview
Slime Song, we really kind of did
and the
everything we wanted to do with the
Waylanders.
genre, but we weren't quite
know.
done
I was
with
expecting
what
some
comes with a
more
platforming game, and so we
trailers.
started experimenting with a 2.5D
more
game at
trailers.
first, that then developed into Demon Turf, our now 3D platformer, our big take on the 3D platforming genre. That kind of tries to combine everything we love from it, but then also trying to bring new things to it that are different. And we're just really, really excited to bring it to you. In a way, for us, this is kind of a spiritual successor to Slime Song.
So did this kind of break your brains to have to work on something that was 2D and sort of traditional
What's
and
the
was specifically,
reveal?
you know, evocative of a entire style of game, a whole era of video games,
wanna know.
to now jump into 3D? That took many other
some
game
anime
developers
games
like
or
15,
fighter,
20 years
like
to get
Fighting
accustomed to.
Climax,
And
Sega,
for you guys, it was just like
Armored
2 or 3
Core
years.
by
You're already
Software.
into the next dimension.
All
So
Software
what
one
were some of the
is
sort of
Bloodborne
challenges
or
of
Dark
going from
Souls.
2D to 3D? From a
I
strictly
want a new
platformer
JRPG.
I mean,
an
honestly,
anime type of
and I
game.
think Ben can back me up on this. The weirdest
Those
thing
are my
about this
favorite.
project is how smooth it's been. Every time we tried out something new, it
But
just
yeah,
kind of
I'm not
worked
feeling
out
this
pretty well.
Yeah,
at all.
I'd say, especially on the mechanical side, a lot of the tricks we learned from Slime
Not
Song,
feeling it.
we
Nope.
kind of could
Nope.
extend and bring into 3D, and it just felt like a natural extension. Where actually was where we did like find challenges was more on the art
I
style
don't know,
side
guys.
of like.
I think I'm
There's
gonna
actually
call
a
it a
lot of things
day.
that 3D makes a lot simpler.
As
that
long
then
as you
combined
guys can
2D
hear
and
me
3D
though,
like
and
this, like
audio's
this
coming through
actually
great,
brings
that's
in whole new
perfect
challenges of
because
like
I will
spacing and
100%
trying to
be
get
streaming
a tap on how enemies are facing and that kind of thing. That
the
then
Sony.
we basically had to come
Why
up with new
isn't this
solutions
paused?
for that worked for both.
Pause, you piece of. Okay, good. It's paused. So I will 100% be streaming the PS5 reveal tomorrow. I'm so fucking excited. Like, it's not even natural how excited I am, but I can't wait. I'm gonna wake up early, make sure my stream is looking crisp and good, and yeah, I'll probably be live before the stream actually goes live just to make sure that everything's good. So I'll see you tomorrow, guys. I cannot wait to stream this thing. It's gonna be insane, epic. So let's see what the PS5 looks like. Yatta! Okay, guys, I'm gonna head off now, and I will see you tomorrow, or I might even see you later if you guys follow me on Twitch. I might be up for streaming later, but I'll always update Instagram and Twitter, so you can find out what I'm doing and whether I'm going live on there. Sayonara. Take care, guys. See you later. I'm off, Cookie. I'll see you next time, buddy. I'm gonna be probably streaming on Twitch later. But yeah, I'll see you later. See ya.